Hey, what's up? Hey guys, it's Icy from Icy Studio, and I hope that everyone is doing safe and well out there in a really grim time like this. I could rant on and on and on and on about how you should wash your hands, how you should distance yourself from people physically and stay at home as much as possible, but I won't bore you guys with information that you already know. And I know that a lot of people are staying at home right now, which is good. So anyway, I have decided to do a free video series of how to do calligraphy with just a regular pen and any paper you have at home, whether it's ruled or just plain paper. I usually do calligraphy with either pointed pen or brush pen, but in a time like this where everyone's like at home, they're too scared to go out and people might not have like a brush pen or a pointed pen at home. That's why I decided to do this little video series that can probably help you keep yourself busy if you're feeling anxious or stressed about like the stuff you see in the news, all of the information you're consuming, and yeah, just like make it all stop. I think this is the perfect time to learn something new, like pick up a creative skill or learn an instrument, learn a new language, or read that ever-growing TBR. Make really good use of your time. So I decided to call this series Creative Quarantine. I know technically we're not all in quarantine, we're in isolation, but it's catchy, so Creative Quarantine it is. So this series will include several videos of how to do calligraphy with just a regular pen and any paper. So we're going to be going through two simple styles of calligraphy. So we're going to be going through faux calligraphy, monoline calligraphy, and I'm going to demonstrate the lowercase letters of the alphabet in faux calligraphy. So grab your pen and your paper and let's get going. Okay, so first things first, we're gonna talk about calligraphy versus handwriting. For the intents and purposes of showing you what calligraphy actually looks like versus handwriting, I'm gonna use a brush pen. So this is one of my favorite brush pens. It's called Pentel Touch. Anyway, so calligraphy looks something like this. So that is my calligraphy, and this is what my handwriting looks like. So you'll notice the difference between calligraphy and handwriting in terms of the thin and thick strokes. So with handwriting, we weren't really mindful of how we constructed every single letter, whereas with calligraphy, you'll notice that I did it slower than I did my handwriting, and you'll notice that there are thin and thick strokes. So there's definition between thin and thick, whereas with handwriting, it's just like one uniform thickness of the lines. And with calligraphy, instead of focusing on the letters themselves, we actually have these things called the basic strokes, which actually make up the letters. So in other words, if you combine these fundamental elements called the basic strokes, you can make up the letters, the lowercase letters of the alphabet. So I'll show you the basic strokes. So these are the 8 standard basic strokes that you'll see when you're trying to figure out how to do calligraphy. So in terms of faux calligraphy, so looking at the etymology of the word faux calligraphy, faux is French for, so literally it means fake calligraphy. Sometimes the word fake has a negative connotation, but I think it's just a term for the type of calligraphy that we are going to be tackling today. So as I said earlier, calligraphy and handwriting are completely different because of the basic strokes. So the basic strokes determine where the thin and the thick strokes go, and when you combine these basic strokes, you make up a letter. Another rule for doing calligraphy: when you go up, the stroke should be thin, and every time you go down, the stroke should be thick. So we're gonna do the basic strokes in faux calligraphy. So thin up, thick down. So every time there's a thick stroke, we just add another line on either side and we color it in. And also the basic strokes, and like I said earlier, the basic strokes determine where the thin and the thick lines go. I'm just gonna do this roughly. I'm not gonna do it like really perfectly. So remember, every time you go, your pen goes down, like up, down. That's when you put the thickened stroke. Ta-da! So those are the basic strokes in faux calligraphy. Okay, so we'll do a sample word just to make sense of the basic strokes, because like I said earlier, we combine the strokes to make the lowercase letters of the alphabet. So let's do a sample letter. So the letter A is made up of an upstroke, an oval, and a underturn. Whereas so we'll do the upstroke and an oval, and an underturn. And we'll do a sample word. That's right, faux calligraphy in faux calligraphy. I realized that I didn't do the faux calligraphy as nice as I want to because of how I shoot my videos. So the camera's like really close to me and I'm like, oh, my movement is very limited, so I'll just do that again for you. How do you like my nose? This was actually a spontaneous thing. I didn't plan on doing like full notes for this, but if you want to take a screenshot, feel free to do so. So I hope I was able to explain faux calligraphy properly. If you watched my video on how to do acrylic sign, I just struggled so much with that. Like, paano ko ba to i-explain? Basta Faux Calligraphy! Search nyo na lang! I hope that video was helpful to those who want to get their calligraphy journey started and have limited amount of supplies. And I'm just letting you know that calligraphy isn't an instant thing that you get better at just like that, just like watching one video or going to one workshop. It takes a lot of practice and patience, and you know, start now, because next year you never know what progress you might be achieving. So so in the next video, I'm going to be teaching you about this much more simpler style of calligraphy called monoline calligraphy. So watch out with that, and you can use both styles to add variation to your work and stuff. And yeah, I shall see you in the next video.